Saints minicamp 2018 is open, and we're ready to tell you about day one. Hi again, everybody. Welcome into the ACME Oyster House afternoon wrap with John DeShazier. I'm Sean Kelley, and here on this Tuesday, day one of minicamp, the first of 3 this week.
Yeah, getting after it a little bit warm today, obviously, but the Saints are back on the practice field. We've seen them in OTAs. Minicamp a little bit different, a little bit longer, a little bit more intensity, and still they're just trying to get a little bit better.
Temperatures here at Airline Drive at the Oshler Sports Performance Center in the low 90s, heat indices over 100. We did not see any of the rain that now threatens to rumble our afternoon wrap behind us. So a clean practice today, a practice which saw the Saints and Mark Ingram back together for the first time since the suspension was announced.
Yeah, we know Mark has decided to sit out OTAs. He said he wanted to do so because he thought he could do some things individually better to better himself than he could with the team, but he's missed the OTAs, but he is back on this field for the mandatory minicamp.
He also met with the media for the first time as well, and he had a few things to talk about.
Look, I'm not really going to say much on the suspension, but you know, I fought it hard, and I don't agree with it. But you know, I'm gonna serve my suspension, and I'm gonna be ready to go when it's time. So hopefully we're 4-0 when I come back. But like I said, I fought it hard. I don't agree with it, but I'm gonna serve my suspension, and I'll be back, and I'll be ready.
Well, John, for his teammates, the reaction was as expected, no doubt, to have the Pro Bowler back on the field.
Well, he's been a consummate teammate since he's been in this uniform, a guy who has sacrificed a lot for this team in terms of injuries, in terms of returning from injuries, and in terms of being a really, really good player for this team. So those guys in that locker room love him. They understand that, you know, a mistake was made. He's going to have to serve his suspension. He's going to be back as soon as possible, but he's going to have to pay that penalty.
Yeah, Saints captain Drew Brees talked about the boost that Ingram was able to give the team here on this first day of minicamp.
Just to see his face, be around him again. You know, love Mark as a teammate, love him in the locker room. Love his presence on the field too, and you know, I know he's been training hard, working hard, preparing himself for the season. So yeah, it was great to have him back for this week.
How do you prevent it from becoming some type of distraction? Is it just because you have a veteran team? Yeah,
probably. It certainly hasn't distracted me. I don't think it's distracted anybody really. So yeah, we're not worried about Mark or his readiness to play when it's time.
Drew Brees today also spoke of another old friend returning to the practice field, Tim Hightower. Brees was happy to see Tim Hightower here on what head coach Sean Payton is calling a 3-day tryout.
We've got 5 guys that are out here working out for 3 days, which is pretty common, you know, and so he's just someone we'll take a look at. Obviously, we're familiar with him. I think we got a kicker, a defensive tackle, wide receiver. We got a number of guys that are just here on a 3-day workout. So it always gives us an idea of where guys are. Oftentimes, it helps us with the short list grade.
There's a huge comfort level with Tim Hightower. So you know, we'll see how it all shakes out. But man, it was great. It was great seeing him back. You know, that was a little bit of surprise. You know, he had a couple great years here. Was super productive for us. Along with Mark, and then you know, got a nice contract to go to San Francisco, and then you know, crazy house circumstances, you know, and then he's back for this week, and hope he sticks around, you know, because he's a veteran guy that I think is a tremendous influence on young guys, just the way that he works and the way that he approaches his job and his profession and type of guy he is, you know, what he's overcome. I think there's great lessons that a lot of the young guys can learn from a guy like that.
Running back Tim Hightower, John, was one of 5 players I guess we can put into that box, which would be guys here on a 3-day tryout, basically.
Yeah, but Tim, the most noteworthy of those guys, because he's been a productive member of this team a couple of seasons ago, and he's a guy who can handle that workload. You're going to need a guy when Mark Ingram is out, and he's shown that he can be productive in this offense.
Marcus Davenport also on the practice field today. John, we learned earlier this week that he'll need a thumb procedure following minicamp, but I was sure glad to see him out there working basically full go with the Saints today.
Yeah, good to see him out there. He had the hand wrapped, and I don't think he caused anything further to it, obviously, but you know, it's going to be something that's going to be worth monitoring to make sure that he doesn't further cause himself any damage.
Any other news and notes today, my friend?
Yeah, had a couple of guys missing. Excused absences for defensive end Cam Jordan. Congratulations, Cam and Mrs. Jordan, on the birth of their child. And also we had an excused absence for wide receiver Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, one of the hardest workers on this team, so you know he had to have an excused absence because he was not miss any work.
No doubt. Head coach Sean Payton was certainly pleased at the start of practice today. He said the heat did take an effect on the team in the later stages or periods of today's workout. He says that'll get better. They'll have to get used to that. And we'll probably see similar conditions tomorrow. Speaking of conditions, weather permitting, John, the Saints faithful are welcome back here at the Oyster Sports Performance Center for day 2 of minicamp.
Yeah, we're hoping that the rain will come today and clear out so the fans can get back out here and see these guys on the field, because a lot of times this is the only opportunity fans will get a chance to see these guys up close and personal this way. So hopefully all the downpour will happen soon, but not right now, and then we'll be back tomorrow.
And those fans will also get to see the new tribute to Saints owner Tom Benson, who passed obviously this past offseason. His initials, TB, now painted prominently on both practice fields here at the Oyster Sports Performance Center. A nice touch. John, we'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m.
Looking forward to it. Hopefully the heat will break, be like this, but not the rain.
No doubt. We'll see you next time, after tomorrow's workout, that is, on the next edition of the ACME Oyster House Afternoon Wrap.